You have all probably heard the name Luka Jovic before. If not, let me give you a quick summary. Luka Jovic is a Serbian footballer currently playing for Real Madrid. He was actually born in Bosnia in December 1997, making him 22 years old. He got into football at a very young age. He got into Red Star Belgrade's youth team at a very young age and made his debut in the 2013-2014 season. A few seasons after he signed for Benfica, where he didn't shine much and wasn't too useful for the team. He rarely got any play time, so in 2017 he decided to sign for the German club, Eintracht Frankfurt. In Germany, the young player exploded and was scoring goals as if he was on the training ground. He had a spectacular first season, although he wasn't noticed by many people yet. In his second spell at the German club, Jovic destroyed the Bundesliga and even reached the semi-finals of the Europa League. He was a brilliant player and very key for the club. Soon clubs started coming after him looking forward to sign the brilliant number 9. Jovic ended his time at Frankfurt with a total 75 games and a whopping 36 goals. He was undoubtedly one of the brightest stars in the league. In the summer of 2019, Real Madrid were the lucky team that ended up signing the Serbian star. For a total fee of $65 million, the former Frankfurt player was looking forward to help Real Madrid from their crisis as they had just had their worst season in ages. Everything looked bright and perfect for the young player and he was destined to become a star. There was only one problem: Karim Benzema. The French striker has been an iconic piece of Real Madrid for over a decade and he was the undoubted starter. Jovic lost his leadership and was very insecure and unconfident whenever he was playing. Slowly people started realizing he had flopped and was doing terribly compared to last season. Some Real Madrid fans turned against him, and while Benzema was scoring more and more goals, Luka Jovic was just sitting in the bench watching the others play. Despite scoring and assisting a few times, it was obvious he had flopped. His statistics this season have been absolutely terrible. Let's compare Jovic's statistics from this season to those of last season. In 2018-2019, Jovic played a total of 48 games, scoring 27 goals, which gives him a ratio of 0.56 goals per game. Let's not forget that he also did 7 assists, which is not bad at all for a central forward. However, all of this looks less impressive when you realize he played a total of 3,302 minutes. This is not to say that his statistics are bad, in fact they are still very impressive for such a young talent. Now let's look at his statistics for this season so far. As we all know, the season hasn't finished yet as it has just been postponed. So far, in 2019-2020 he has played a total of 24 games, which is exactly half of last season. However, he has only managed to find the back of the net twice, giving him a terrible ratio of 0.08 goals per game, one of the worst possible ones for a central forward like him. He has managed 2 assists too. Although to be fair, let's not forget that he has only played 770 minutes in the entire season, which is significantly less than last season. This is around 4.29 times less minutes than last season, which could explain why his statistics are so poor. If we look closer, we can see that Jovic is barely given any time in each game. If we pick out a few random games, we can see that he's normally selected to play around 5, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. This is clearly not enough time for a player to do much on the pitch, yet whenever he's in it he does relatively well. He also has an average LaLiga rating of 6.39 on the website WhoScored.com. This isn't very high, but it isn't terrible. Meanwhile, last season he played much more with Frankfurt. As we can see, Luka Jovic normally played around 90 minutes, and if he was unlucky then only like 70. Of course there are some exceptions, but he played much more and had way more time on the pitch to do his thing. Now let's do some calculations. In order for Jovic to play as many minutes as last season and have fair and comparable statistics, we will need to duplicate this season's numbers by 4.29, since that's the difference between this season's minutes on the pitch and last season's. It's not 100% as it will give him 1 minute more for this season, but it is the closest I can get to without getting onto too many decimal places. In this case, Jovic will now have 8.58 goals this season. Of course this is impossible since goals can't get into decimal places, so to keep it simple I will round it to the nearest number, 9. Now, I seriously doubt Luka Jovic will only get 9 goals in the entire season if he played over 3,000 minutes. It would be very unlikely, and he would most likely reach at least 15 goals. But for now we'll stick with the maths and not the projections. Now that we have multiplied Jovic's statistics this season to compare them to last season, we can still see a huge gap in the number of goals. Of course, as I said before, Jovic would most likely reach 15 or maybe even 20 goals if he played as much time as last season, but mathematically he would have 9. This is a 66.67% decrease from last season, or 2/3 less than last season. A huge number. Now let's calculate how many goals Jovic will score this season if he continued with his last streak. Between Jovic's first goal and Jovic's second he played 374 minutes in which he did not score, which is about a bit over 4 games. Now let's add up all this minutes and see how long it will take him to score the 27 goals he scored last time. So basically, every 374 minutes we add him a goal. Also, he hasn't played a single minute since he last scored, which will help us keep it simple. To score the 25 goals he would need to equalize last season's record, Jovic will need to play 9,350 minutes more. This is a lot of game time. Jovic will need to play 104 games more, playing the entire 90 minutes each to equalize with last season's record if he scores a goal every 374 minutes. This is a lot of games, considering Real Madrid won't play nowhere near 100 games this season, never mind 104. If we look at Jovic's Wikipedia and his career statistics, we can clearly see this is by far his worst season statistically, although some people seem to forget that before he signed for Frankfurt he wasn't doing too well either. Finally, it's time and be patient. The kid has a lot of potential and a bright future ahead of him, plus they paid a lot to give up on him very early. If you all remember, last season Thibaut Courtois was terrible and conceded over 50 goals, but this season he has been incredible. My point here is that Jovic could easily recover just like Thibaut did. It takes some time to adapt and fit in, and Zinedine Zidane knows this. I think Real Madrid should play him much more often and let Benzema rest too. If Real Madrid end up selling him and he becomes a star again, then they will regret it for the rest of their lives. There aren't any other center forwards right now that can replace Benzema in Real Madrid apart from Jovic. If you think Mbappe can, or maybe Erling Braut Haaland from Dortmund can, you will probably be right, but Real Madrid will need to spend lots of money on either of them with no guarantee they won't flop. In my personal opinion, Jovic should be given more time and have patience just like Real Madrid did with Thibaut Courtois last season. Good things come for those who wait the most. Finally, I would like you to see the video I did a few days ago on Jovic's season so far. It's a short compilation with music of his best moments so far, which might prove to you he's still a beast, just a sleeping beast. I know that Jovic will wake up the beast inside him again. And when he does, Europe need to get ready, because no one will be able to stop him.